spreadsheet.
Okay, it's a large deep dish minutes. It'll be about an hour's.
Top of that.
Hit.
Now it's black. All right, everyone, give us just a second here. We're gonna get started. Take care of my echo.
That's one. Whoa. Right, it's just gonna be.
All right. So welcome to the second day of the Summer Robotics Academy. We hope everyone is in here. I'm gonna double check and make sure. Let's pull up the chat if we can. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully everyone is in here. I'll be monitoring to see if people will be coming in. Let's see. Okay. All right, so welcome to the second day of the Summer Robotics Academy with Talent Search. We hope you guys got something out of yesterday while we were building. What we're going to do is we'll pull up the PowerPoint. Ms. Carmona is going to share the slides, and what we will do is talk about what we're going to do today, our objectives, our outcomes for today. We'll finish building the robot, and from there we'll talk about coding. Okay? So do we have it shared? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Can they hear me, right? Or can they only hear you?
They can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody can see my presentation, okay?
You have passed me your curves. You passed me your curves.
You guys can give like a thumbs up just to make sure. So you guys got to look at this yesterday. This was just like the talent search. Thank you so much, Daniel and Benjamin. The talent search staff. You guys met Dr. Flores yesterday. He's a director. this is Mr. Gilo. He is another advisor slash manager as well, and myself, Miss Carmona. And you met Miss McGoey yesterday as well.
It's 100 bedrooms, your bedroom.
So this is just our schedule for today. And so today we're having like our opening remarks. As you can see, we're going to be finishing our robot today. I know some of you guys have kind of advanced more than others, and that's okay. But today we're going to allow you to finish your robot, and then we're going to continue on with the presentation and also learn a little bit about coding. So it'll be something different and exciting. And then we will have a break in between that as well. Finish building the MBOT Neo. And then our lesson is going to be about robotic science, programming, coding, and then we'll be learning how to code. So it'll be a really fun, interesting day.
Jen looked at me for a good second.
So this is our objectives, like I said: robotic science, machinery and electronics, programming, like the process of telling a computer to do certain things by giving instructions, and then coding, creating instructions for computers to create computer software, apps, and websites. And we're going to be doing block-based coding. Let me know if I'm going too fast.
All right. That's fine.
Let me know if I'm going too fast for you guys, because I know sometimes that I do talk a little fast. So, yeah, if you guys want me to slow down, just let me know. So this is our norm. Today is a better day than yesterday. We started on time, and we're going to end on time. But if anybody needs like a little extra time on like finishing the MBOT Neo or anything like that, that's totally fine. If you need some extra help, just always let us know. The other one is treat each other with dignity and respect. We haven't had like any issue other than like yesterday. Only about half of y'all had the camera on. And I think it's really crucial that we do have our cameras on, especially when we're building the MBOT Neo, so that we can see where you are in the process. If you have any like difficulties on some parts or just not understanding yet, we would really, really appreciate it if you could turn on your cameras, so that could be helpful for us.
If you're able to, right?
Yeah, if you're able to, yeah. And then listen carefully and never interrupt. We didn't have any issues with that. Thank you so much for turning your cameras on. And then attendance as well. And come prepared to learn, which I feel like all of you have been really prepared and really excited about building the MBOT Neo. So I'm really, really happy about that. And then this is our virtual handbook, which should be coming this afternoon, according to Dr. Flores. And you'll be able to find this on our website, which is UHD.edu/talent search. Do you have anything to say for that?
No, we'll make sure to update all the materials for you as well. We're also live on YouTube at the moment, so make sure you can type in UHD talent search on the YouTube search link, search bar, and you'll find our channel there. Right now we're not sharing the PowerPoint. I'm waiting on the computer. As is, you'll always have technical difficulties. You guys knew yesterday, but we're doing better today, as you can see and maybe tell. But we also are going to ask each of you to fill out a contact form. This lets us know, and this is able to provide documentation for yourselves later on if you need a scholarship or you need someone to verify how many hours you have spent in a program like Talent Search. That contact form is going to significantly help us. So I think right before we get started with everything, I'll have each of you take a look at that. I'll share the link in the Zoom chat, and then what we will do is have you fill that out. We'll explain it. It doesn't take but a couple minutes to fill out.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and then this is just a process of how we finished the frame yesterday, so we'll be adding like most of the sensors and then the wires today, so we should be done building the robot today. So yeah, yeah, that's it for right now. And then we'll get to building a robot. I know you guys need to set up, so I think we'll give them some time to set up.
Yeah, so you want to get your materials together, and I'm going to switch camera views here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do the contact form. And it's all digital, so I'm going to bring that up for you. Give me just a second.
Can I borrow that for 1 second? I need my vitamins.
Okay, so the contact form I put into the Zoom chat, and I'll explain how to go through that here. Just 1 second.
Bro, freaking break it. I get him for 120, man.
And once you click on the link that I gave everyone there, you'll be able to see the contact form. And I'll tell you how to fill it out. And then you can unmute your mic or let me know if you have any questions about it. But it's fairly straightforward. So you'll put your first and your last name and then your email, your Aldine ISD student ID number,
Do you want me to share my screen and show them? Or no?
if you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll put the time and date. Now it's usually automatically filled in for you here, and Miss Carmona is sharing her screen so that you can see what it looks like here. But you'll put your grade level, and then you're going to check the box. It's one box when it says check which services you received today. It's just going to be Summer Robotics Academy, and then you're going to draw your signature to the best of your ability down below, and then hit submit form. Okay, I'll give you a couple minutes to go through that, and let me know if you have any questions with that at all. That's correct. You'll be putting the grade level you're going into, and for the next school year. So, if you were in the 9th grade, you'll put 10th grade. Just put the grade level you're going into. That's correct. So while you're wrapping up that, I'm going to go ahead and change camera angles, and that way we can start getting things out of the boxes, grabbing the materials, and getting ready to build. Tyrese, were you able to submit the form? There should be a submit button. If you missed a field and it won't let you submit, that means you have to go back up and look at if you missed a field. It will be highlighted in red. Let me know once you have taken care of that, okay? You found it? Let me know once you have successfully submitted that, okay?
Okay.
See if I can get our camera to work here.
En la próxima isla me la presentación. Me estresó, like, es un
You submitted it? Fantastic. Okay. Just waiting for our camera to come up here.
If it's not working, do you want me to put it in one of the webcasts?
It should work. One sec.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. There we go. Technology, I will tell y'all, is it's fun and not fun sometimes. So I'm glad that we got it to work. I'm gonna pull up the chat. I hope everybody submitted their form. If you haven't, let me know. We can paste it back into the chat again. But make sure you submitted that. We're only going to ask that you submit one for the entire academy, and then we'll put in and make sure all of your hours are logged there, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, are you popping in on this or no?
Sure.
No, you don't have to.
Ryan, no se puede, it doesn't see that I'm on your computer right here. If I'm messing with you.
Oh, I don't have anything up on that one.
Okay, I'm just
but you
checking.
can get on that one, yeah. Alright, so let's get everything together. Let's get everything out. Let's make sure everybody has their toolkit out. Let's go ahead and get the robot out. We're going to finish actually building the robot. And then there is some preliminary things we need to do. Let me know if you haven't charged your CyberPi unit. It is this unit right here. Let me know if you have not charged it yet, okay? Because no big deal, but we are definitely going to need to make sure everybody has their robot charged and ready to go once we start to code it and get everything going on the coding aspect, okay? Yesterday we left off on step 5, and that was installing the 10 centimeter wire. And if you did look on your checklist, that 10 centimeter wire was in slot number 6, so make sure that you installed the wire in slot from slot number 6 onto the MBot Neo. What's that?
Do you need more light? Like, do
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to help you with anything?
We're gonna finish doing this, and then what?
And
We
then
need an
Claudia,
update
you're doing a
firmware.
presentation? Oh, yeah.
Claudia did
Update
presentation. Yeah.
The firmware. But we have to tell them like how they have to do it because it has to be connected to a PC.
Mm-hmm.
But before you do that, I have to finish the whole rest of the presentation.
Okay, so let's move on to step 6. Okay, and this is actually going to be installing the ultrasonic sensors that are on the front of the robot here. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. So that is actually in slot number 2 on the toolbox. So go into your toolbox, slot number 2, grab the ultrasonic sensors, and then what you're going to need is you have the 10 centimeter wire already. Let's see, is that another one? Yeah, you need, so there's 2. So you've got 3 wires so far coming out of the robot. Okay, so you're going to need to grab the other wire, the other 10 centimeter wire. Okay. Looks like this. And then you're going to grab 2 screws. Those are going to be the M4 14 millimeter. The slot in the toolbox that you're looking for is going to be number 5. So you're going to go right. It's the top right. If you can see the toolbox here, top right. We're going to go into slot number 5, and we're going to go ahead and grab 2 screws from that slot. Okay. So I've got my wire, my 2 screws, and my ultrasonic sensor. Okay. I'm going to move the toolbox away just for a second. And then what you're going to do is you're going to install the ultrasonic sensor. You want to make sure that it's like a smile, like these are the 2 eyes and this is a smile. So you're going to put the eyes over the top. You see 2 holes right above the smile. That's where it's going to go. So you want to make sure that you get it lined up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to kind of guide that, and you may want to get your screwdriver out and just ever so slightly. You don't want to tighten it all the way down just yet until you get the other screw in there so that you can line that up as well. Anthony, yours isn't charged? Okay. Do you have the ability to either plug it into like a computer, or do you have a USB port somewhere? What's that?
Like a battery bank, a power.
You're charging it right now. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to tighten this down. Take both the eyes, or both the screws, and you're going to tighten basically what's the eyes, or the ultrasonic sensor of your robot down here. Okay?
One more. Viper, nice.
All right. So then the next step you're going to do is you're actually going to plug in the other wire, or you're going to plug in actually both wires. So the one that you installed yesterday, that one's actually going to plug into the left side of the eyes. So you're going to go in. It may be easier to go through. There's like another slot here. I'm going to go through here. And then you want to click the wire, the last wire we installed yesterday into the ultrasonic sensor. And Like I said yesterday, if you're having trouble with this, you may want to flip it around, because I was just having trouble. I almost bent the pins there, and so you don't want to do that. But you want to get it snug enough to plug in to that left side. And then you're going to do basically the same thing for this side. But this one is going to be a little bit different from what I remember. Give me 1 second to consult Miss McGoey.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
So that one goes the same way, but the only difference is whenever we're screwing in the stuff.
Okay. So really, before this goes on, it needs to be routed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I say put this one in first and then slide it in through there.
Under?
Like
Okay.
inside.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. So, what we're going to do with this right wire, because the next step is actually installing this portion.
Now this really isn't the brain, but it does have the circuitry and all the other plugins for like other servo motors that you can get. But we're going to go ahead and take this out of the box. Okay, take the plastic off if you don't have the plastic off already. Okay, the trick about this wire with step 6 is what you're going to want to do is, we found that it was easier if you take this and you sort of go and you plug this into the eyes first. So I'm going to plug this in real quick, this other wire. There we go. Got that plugged in. And it actually calls for the four of the 25mm screws. And that's slot 3 in your toolbox. So go into slot 3 of your toolbox. It's the longest screws here. I'm going to grab the toolbox just to show you all real quick so you can follow along. Slot 3 is this slot right here. Okay. Labeled 3. And then, so what we're going to do is I grabbed 4 of those screws out of slot number 3. And then, like I was saying, we found it a little bit easier if you sort of make like an S shape with this wire here, so that it tucks underneath this portion and it doesn't like stretch the wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brain here and I'm going to make sure this wire on the right side just loops sort of like an S like that. Okay, before I go ahead and tighten it down. Okay, and you have to get it to line up with the holes, so it may be easier to tuck both those wires and then you have your other 2 wires out of the back. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, just to get one started, I'm going to put a screw down here, get my screwdriver out, kind of tighten one down, but make sure that you can get to that other wire. See, I'm already losing that wire on the side that I tucked, so I'm going to make sure, make it like a C. Okay. Yeah, so I want it to stick out the side here right before I do that. That way I can get to it still, because the issue is that we ran into the first time is that we weren't able to get to that wire. We had to use like a needle nose or a pair of pliers, something to get that wire out of there again. And let me... Yeah. So on step number 6, there was 14mm screws, and those were the M4s That was out of slot number 5.
Okay? That's what we used to put the eyes on. Okay? And then the ones that we're using to put this top piece on here is out of slot number 3. Those are the 25 millimeter screws. That's out of slot number 3 in the toolbox. Does that make sense?
It's the longest ones out of the toolbox.
Yeah, longest ones out of the toolbox. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm taking the screws, the longest ones, out of slot number 3, and I'm guiding them into the top of where this entire top of the robot. Okay. Because technically you have this, which would be like the brain, but this is sort of the brain, the muscles, or if you will. But I'm not tightening these down all the way just yet. I just want to make sure that I get it guided in and that I have access to all my wires. So, and it looks like, let's see. Yeah. So we're good on that. So I've got 3 wires coming out here, and then I'm gonna make sure that this is tightened just enough down once you get everything situated here. Is this sort of how you did it, Juan? Yeah. Okay.
And I know we took it that way.
Okay. So now we've got that nice and snug using our 25 millimeter screws, the longest ones. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we'll move on to step 8. Okay, so we're getting there. And step 8 is actually connecting all of the wires together. Okay. So this wire that we just plugged in, okay, on the other side of the ultrasonic sensors, that's going to go right into this side right here, okay? And I'm going to make sure I'm plugging it in the right way, and it looks like it just snapped right in there. That was actually pretty ezy, okay? So this is how mine looks. It's kind of tucked away in there a little bit. But you want it to be like that because the first one that we built, or the first one I built, was the wire wasn't tucked underneath there. And what you don't want to have happen is whenever you're driving this thing around for the wire to get snagged on anything, right? Okay. So then you have these 2 back wires, and they call these EM1. I would guess it would stand for electric motor, but you're going to go from 1. So I'm going to make sure that I'm plugging these into the right spot. So this is the left motor, and this is the right. So your right motor will go into EM2. It's labeled right here on the back. You can kind of see it. Let me see if I can get closer up on that. You can kind of see it there. EM1, EM2. Okay. EM2, plugging the right motor into EM2. Okay. And looks like I had it right the first time, but you want to be careful with this one. There's a lot of prongs, a lot of pins, and this one, so you want to be careful. And then I'm going to plug the left motor, your left motor, into EM1. Again, let me know if you have any questions. They're not going to go in like all the way,
but it should be enough to where you don't see like a gap in between the whenever you're plugging it into the plastic here. It's fine on this side, but on the inside you just kind of want to make sure everything is nice and snug. So if it looks like that, if yours looks like that, good job. Where did the sensors get plugged in, Tyrese? Let's see. Which sensors are you talking about? Are you talking about the ultrasonic sensors right here? Or the eyes? Okay. So the eyes, you want to make sure you have one wire going in on the left side, one on the right. Now, the wire that we just plugged in, because there was one yesterday. I'm going to admit some people into the screen here. Okay. So it looped around right. It tucked underneath. And I plugged it right into here, into this side. Okay? Of this brain, I guess you would call it, or second brain. Do you see what I'm talking about, Tyrese? I don't want to move any further until you see, but there's a little spot. It's not going to be these two spots right here where it says servo only. Okay.
What about the other eye?
The other eyes? Okay. So on the bottom, this is what, uh-oh, did my camera freeze?
No.
You're still good.
I'm still good?
The bottom one.
The bottom, my other one froze. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me fix that.
Are we running it now? You want us, or just you? I'm gonna say it's running it. I'll just do it, or just you? Oh, that's good. No. So, yeah, go. 25.
Give me 1 second. Get that fixed.
If you want, I can. Will you give me?
Okay. All right, and we're back. Okay. So see how at the bottom here, Tyrese? Let me pull up your chat real quick. Let's see. You plug the eyes into the bottom
Am I not watching?
sensor. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Because you have one wire that is. See how you have one wire in the eyes on the left side? That wire from yesterday does go underneath and plugs into the sensor there. Okay?
So if you hold it like this, the smiley face.
Yeah.
This side.
Yeah. So the right side, if you hold it like this, the right side from the eyes tucks underneath, comes through this little groove right here. And the aluminum, I think I lost the camera again. But you can see it right there. You can see the groove where it all connects on that right hand side. Not sure why this is doing that. And then the other one is the one that we just did.
Okay. Then, sorry. He's gonna have to unplug.
Yeah, so one of the eyes goes comes out of the groove and down into the bottom of, hold on, let me see if I can get this camera working and show you.
Do you want me to get a Logitech one?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. When we take a break, I'll try to get this so it doesn't do that anymore. Let's see. Okay. And I think it did it again. Give me 1 second, guys, and we'll fix this real quick. Yeah, let's take a quick break, y'all. And I'm going to fix this, and we'll come right back. And then what I can do in the meantime of the break is make sure that Tyrese, that we make sure we get all the wires plugged in, okay?
They haven't called.
Okay, everyone, I think we fixed the problem. Let's see. Real quick. And let me know if there's like a slight echo or something on anyone's end. I just want to make sure that audio is okay for everyone, that you can hear me okay. And it looks like, Solomon, you figured out where the extra wire goes. Do you want to tell us where the extra wire goes then? Okay. Let me spotlight your video real quick. Let me see. Okay, what'd you find out? Oh, okay, yeah. And then... Okay, alright. Well, you're finding out things that we have not found out about. You are, I mean, that's incredible. Great job. An extension cord, basically, right? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Good to know, good to know. So, for those that didn't understand that or see it, Solomon just pointed out to us that if you go into slot 7, slot 7 is right in here, okay? And you grab the 20 centimeter cable like this, okay? All right. Yeah, there's an extra wire, Virginia. Did you see it in slot number 7? Let me know if you haven't seen it there. Yeah, so whenever you're actually programming the robot, so like let me take this CyberPi out, and I took the plastic off just to see what Solomon was talking about. But on this CyberPi, there is a port. So see, it's on the I guess you would say the right side. Okay, whenever you're holding up. So if I've got the joystick on the left, on the right hand side on the top, there's a cord, or a port. And you can plug this cord into that port. See that? And then the other one actually plugs into let me see, on the underside of the MBOT 2, okay? And then you can plug that right into the port right here, okay? Now, this is something I have not done before, but it makes sense to me, given that you use the CyberPi unit, which is the brain here, to control the robot, okay? So I'm going to plug that in. Because if you look on the bottom side of the CyberPi, see these little pin marks here? You can actually plug that in here. So if you weren't going to use this right here, if you weren't going to use this this port, what I would do is just unplug it from the CyberPi unit, and then it actually plugs right into the top right there. And that's actually the last step of every of the building of the robot, basically. Did you? So you got it, Virginia? Did you see where I plugged it in. Just want to make sure before I move on, everybody, you got it. Okay, perfect. All right. So, moving on, step 10, it's complete. So the robot is complete. Your robot is on. Okay. You can test to see if it turns on. I mean, there's a switch on the left-hand side. You do need to have the brain part on. Yes, you do. Yeah. And so the Bluetooth controller, we'll get into that. Do you have that? It's right here. Okay. Yeah, so the Bluetooth controller, you'll have to code to work with the MBot 2, okay? And I can show you how to do that. I do want to know, though, does everybody have a computer here that you can code with to plug this in? Okay. How do you get the brain to snap on? Okay, let me show you real quick. So it pops off. So, my recommendation to you is probably to put the CyberPi on. Okay, so you would plug that in, and then I would take the USB that it came with, and the USB is going to be in slot number 15 on the toolbox. Okay. Slot 15. I'm going to grab the USB. Let's see if I can get that out. There we go. Out of there. And then what I would do is plug this into, you can plug it into like a power brick, or you can plug it into your computer. But you want to make sure you charge it a little bit. It doesn't have to be charged all the way, but I'm going to take this and plug it into the CyberPi. Let's see. I gotcha, Anthony. Okay. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do then. I will explain like the beginning processes to you for coding it and show you what it looks like on the computer. If you don't have a computer, that's okay too. I'll show you how to at least drive this thing around. Do you have a phone? If you have someone's phone, maybe you can borrow and download the app. I'll show you how to do that. But that's okay. I'll get you started, and then you get to keep this robot by the end of it. So you'll get to get more in depth with it once you have access to a computer, or if you need to check one out, like what Dr. Flores mentioned yesterday with the Aldine ISD policy, is they allow coding. It did freeze. Or, am I froze?
No.
No? Okay. I see what's going on. My connection is... It'll come back. We'll give it a second here. Let me know if I'm still frozen. All right. Yeah, and I think in the future, Virginia, we may explore other ways of conducting rather than using Zoom. I know. We've had complications. That was our issue yesterday, is no audio with Zoom. So we may explore some other ways. I will say, though, if you are having an issue with the Zoom application, at least keep it open so you can type like in the chat or something. But if you're able to open it up on YouTube, you can do that. And that's okay, Solomon. when you're able to check out a computer from Aldine ISD, the make block applications work with Windows, iOS, Android. They have Chromebook applications. So, you know, even if they give you a Chromebook to check out from school, you can do that as well. So the app that you install, but I want to, before we get to that, make sure you start charging this thing, okay? So plug it in somewhere where it can actually charge, all right? Because it may turn on. Let me see if this one, and you can see the little screen popping up. It's going to ask you, you know, do you want it in, there's Mandarin, there's English, Japanese. You're going to choose English, okay? There's not many options in here right now because we haven't coded it, so you can leave this portion out. There's programs in here. If you do click one of those programs, it's sort of like a demo, okay? It'll give you a demo of what it can do. But what I recommend is, because this one is showing it has about half battery, I would plug this into somewhere that it can actually get a charge for just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be very long. But I'm going to plug this in. I see. And then I'll tell you the app to install, okay?
Are you charging it?
So what we're going to do now, before I tell you the app to install and we get into that, there's a little bit of like teaching that I want to share with you, that me and Miss Carmona want to share with you about coding and programming and the different components. So while this is charging, just give us a few minutes to explain what's going on here. Like, what are we doing whenever we're coding and programming? What are the different components to the robot, okay? And I'm going to let Miss Carmona explain here.
Give me a second. I'm just gonna share the PowerPoint. There we go. All right, this is a presentation for today, so you guys can get like a little, background knowledge about coding and like background of coding. Give me 1 second. So this is robotic science. You know, robotics is the intersection of science, engineering, and technology that produces machines called robots, like what we're working today, that substitute for or replicate human actions. So I think we've all maybe seen, like in movies or something, robots that can do work and take over like our jobs. And then this one, continue on, like I said, robotics process automation, like configure computer software robot. That is a mouthful. To emulate and integrate the actions of a human interacting within digital systems to execute a business process. So like this one, I think this robot is in a warehouse. So prior to that, like I think like a person would be doing that job. So now they have like a robot to take over and do all of that. And honestly, basically, like, you know, as humans, we need to take breaks, and like robots, you know, the automation is a lot better and quicker, and they don't need to take breaks or bathroom breaks. So I think some companies will choose a robot over a person. And then medical robotics, it's, you know, enables all surgical instruments, and the donor can need to be placed through one small abdominal incision. So sometimes through surgery, like they'll have a robot like do the incision, which is, I mean, it's kind of good because some people have shaky hands, so you know that would be a really precise incision. Also, let me know if you guys like have any questions. I can't see the chat, so if you like have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and like speak up. I wouldn't mind. And let me know. Yeah. And then programming. So this programming is like the mental process of thinking up instructions to give to a machine, like a computer, and oversees the writing of a whole program and an entire project's worth of coding. So this is something that you basically do before you start coding. You figure out the whole process of like programming and see like what you want to do before you start coding. So this is, yeah, like I said, programming, like the author of your own recipe. When you, right before you're going to do a recipe, if you have it written down, like, or you're going to write down a recipe, it has like all the steps included, like what you're going to do, how you're going to start. So that's kind of like what programming is, like where your starting point, like step 1, step 2, step 3. So that kind of tells like the robot or whatever you're programming, like what it's going to do. Like the apps on your smartphone and running your browser on Windows. And then coding, like we're going to be doing today. Coding is a process of transforming those ideas like we had, like the step 1, step 2, step 3, programming into a written language that a computer can understand. So these are types of coding. The first one is hypertext markup language, and then these are like the bones of the internet. Tells web pages what should be displayed. So anybody who's ever created like a website or anything knows that kind of stuff. I personally don't. I've never created like a website. I think I know Ryan does some things like that for when he creates our website. Yeah, like when he creates our website for Talent Search, he kind of has to like go behind the scenes and tell like the website like what we're posting or what we're not posting. So all kind of things like that as well. And then CSS, it's cascading style sheets. And then the style sheets, fonts, colors, and formatting as well. Like that's a different type of coding. And then JavaScript, that's another one as well. It says brings interactivity to a web page, controls for video players and animation. So this is like an example right here. Not pretty simple, doesn't seem simple to me. And then Ruby versus Python, it's used to develop web applications of high level of interactivity. So this is like an example right here, like code like a little snake game. And then this is going to be like a short video on like what is coding. Let me see if it plays. I guess not. Give me 1 second. No, I got it. I think I just needed to exit out, I think. Nope, it's not playing. Yeah, if you can, please. Yeah.
Come back. Down there. Let me drop. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, dude, unless it sucks. Not the hubby. Oh man, you guys have some experience. No, I took it.
Can't hit shit, man. I can't kill.
That's what the enemy said. Hope you don't me.
Good. Let me mute. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna replay this video since there wasn't any sound the first time, and then we'll go forward from there. Okay, so like we saw in the video, it talks about like binary code and like block coding and things like that. So what we'll be doing is block coding. Like, so what is block coding? And it's like block-based coding utilizes a drag and drop learning environment where programmers use coding instructions, blocks, to construct animated stories and games. And so you'll be able to see like right here, like kind of like what it's gonna look like when we do some coding for the robot. So yeah, like it's all gonna be kind of like dragging and like kind of telling your robot what you want it to do, how you want it to move, how you want it to light up, all those kind of cool things you could do with block coding. So yeah, this is for the closing remarks for the presentation. So what did you guys learn today? I'd really like to hear your feedback, if you learned something new and if you didn't. Yeah, just like a quick what you learned from this presentation. I'd really appreciate your feedback. Did you guys like the presentation? Did you guys like the videos? Did you feel like you learned anything? Got a small recap on what coding is. Okay, that's good. Anybody else want to put the input? They can input. They can put it on the chat or anything else.
Nope, one thing.
Say that again. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I learned more about coding. Okay, I learned more about binary code. Binary code is also what we have on like the back of the shirt too, if you guys remember. I learned where binary code came from and how it was first used. Yeah, that was my first time learning that too when I watched the video. So we all learned something new today. Thank you guys for your input. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take over here. So it's great to hear, how binary first got started, how that was incorporated so many years ago. It's actually pretty cool to learn that. So what I'm going to do now is I want to explain the process of downloading the application. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the name of the application. If you don't have an iOS or Android device or a computer, it's okay. I'm going to give you the name of it, write it down, and that way I can explain to you. But you can access the user manual. Let me go ahead and go to the other angle here. You can access the user manual with this QR code here. So if I go on my phone and I scan this QR code, it's going to take me to makeblock.com, okay? All right, and it's going to give you an MBOT 2 operational guide, okay? And it tells you before you use it, you have to put it together, of course. We've built ours already. Charging and power supply. It's going to tell you the right voltage to use. Okay, you don't want to go above 1 amp or above 5 volts of charging. So that's typically, what you plug, what you can use your phone with. It's not like the super fast chargers. I'd be very skeptical about using something like that, okay? So like a typical USB port that you'd find on a computer or something that you use to charge your phone, a regular charger should work to charge your MBOT 2, okay? Now, before you do any of the preset programs, they recommend you restart the MBOT. We're going to talk about that. I've had mine charging. Does anyone not have theirs charged or charging while? Are we? Anthony can't. Okay. Anthony, I would recommend maybe logging out, logging back in again. I'm not sure if anyone else is not able to hear, let me know. Okay. But Anthony, if you're not able to hear, or anyone else, my recommendation is probably log out, log back in. Maybe your computer is setting the wrong input for audio.
Or select it.
You may need to select a different input. That's what I would recommend. Of course, he couldn't hear that, so.
Type it, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you able to type?
Yes.
Can you do that for me? So the user manual is with that QR code. It's on the box. It's also inside of the build guide here. Okay. So that user manual is what I was just on. Let me open that up again. Okay. So we'll walk you through this. Does anyone else not have their MBOT 2 charged?
If you don't have audio, right?
Yeah,
I guess it won't. Is it good? I guess.
it's fine. Yeah.
Sorry. Let me get my
It's all good. Thank you. All right. So the actual name of the program that we're going to use to code, it is on the computer, and I want to show you how to do that. However, if you want to just get started, like driving the robot around and things, what you can do is there is an app. There's a mobile app. Okay. And I will tell you that name. It is, let's see, MBOT. Let's see. I do have that on my phone.
I'm saying here,
Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure this app works before I give y'all the name of it and everything. Let me get 1 sec. Okay. Let's see.
What about updating the firmware on the amp block? That's what takes a while.
So, I will show y'all how to do it because the M-Block, there is an M-Block app, okay? There's an M-Block app that you can install, okay? But this app will show you like their very basic robot that they have. And then the coding aspect of it is a little bit more difficult than what is shown on the computer, okay? So I guess the best thing for me to do is I want to show y'all how to do it with the computer, okay? And then you can always use this as a reference going forward. Because this is a more like intermediate advanced robot, they don't have like the older robots where you just go step by step through an app on the phone. Okay, is this Anthony? Okay, Anthony. So, let me see here if I can give you the name of the app. Okay.
Oh, I have it written down.
So the first name of the app, I would download. It's called Make Block. Just download Make Block. It looks like. Let me go to the App Store and show you what it looks like.
The iPad has it.
Okay. They do have a number of applications. Okay. But the one that I would download here is called just Make Block. Okay, it looks like this. Give me just a second, Virginia. I'll show you how to do that, okay? And when I open up the Make Block app, it prompted me to connect. So if I go ahead and let me turn this off real quick. A little Bluetooth symbol here is going to show. So I'm going to turn on the robot again. Let me just exit out of the app. And let me go back into the app so I can show you what it looks like here, okay? I'm going to hit Bluetooth. It's going to say connecting, and it's going to connect, okay? Now the coding aspect of it wants to take you to the other application, which is called M Block. M as in Mary. Let me show you what that looks like. M Block looks like this, okay? Now, this is what, now I know it's kind of ironic that it says coding for beginners. It may be, but I mean, once you open it, it's going to take you to a different application than the one I just showed you, okay? There's coding, and you can code with this, and it's going to ask you which robot, and you're going to choose CyberPi, but my recommendation to all of y'all is that you can try and use this, and in my experience with using this robot, if you can get access later on if you don't have access to a computer now, I would recommend that you use a computer first and then this, okay? Because if I click on CyberPi here and I click the check mark, okay, you can start to put together some of the codes, but since it's such a small, like the screen is so small real estate, then then what I would recommend is maybe use a computer.
No way.
But by all means, use the app if you're not able to have access to the computer right now. Now, I will tell you that with the other application, which is just called MakeBlock, I'm going to go ahead and connect. It will let me go into the play option here. See if I go into play. And I want to do a, let's see, it'll let me do it. If I draw a line, and then it will try and follow that, okay? So it actually started to work there. But I can click on the play and it will do some of the things. Okay? So this is a very, I guess, rudimentary version, but you can see that it is doing everything I am telling it to do with this controller application to it. Okay? Now, different from the actual application, the controller has to be programmed to be able to work with the robot as well. So you have to control or program the controller before it will just connect to the robot and work. Okay, so we'll go into the application on the computer, and I can show you what that looks like on the computer. What I would recommend is, if you are not able to get access to a computer right now, do get in touch with either us or a counselor at school and email them and ask them if you can check out a computer, because you guys are all able to check out a Chromebook at least from your school, and that will assist you in the coding applications on the computer for this robot. All right, let's see if it will do. Yeah, so it will do all of the things that you see here on the play option, but whenever you go to code it, it's going to ask you to open up the other application, okay? Yeah, go ahead. So let me show you real quick. So number 7's cord. Let's see. So that 20 centimeter cord that is left over, yes, you can pop the CyberPi unit, which this is the CyberPi like brain of the entire robot, off of the robot, and then you can plug that in, like Solomon explained earlier. You can plug that into this CyberPi right here, and then see how you have an extra port down here on the sensor of the robot? You can actually plug that in right here. And then, Solomon, are you still there? Will you explain, you're able to still control your robot doing that process? Because it looks like the controller, is turning on here. Let's see. And then I can demo. If I go into settings. Let's see. Yeah, the update portion, it is going to ask for like Wi-Fi credentials. To update. I will show you how to update the firmware if you can plug it into a computer. I have not connected this to the Wi-Fi here on campus because it's a little bit more restricted. Like most of y'all's Wi-Fi may be at school, it's restricted here as well. But you are able to connect this to Wi-Fi. And I can show you how to do that to the extent that I have the ability. But if I go into switch program and it does voice reactive, if I click on this program here, and it says press B to start. So this is A, this square button, and this is B on the CyberPi. So if I click B to start, now it's going to start reacting to my voice. See that? Okay. So these are all programs that are already built into the MBOT. Let's see if I do MBOT demo 1. See what happens. It's a line follower, and you press B to start and A to stop. So like if I have a line, that I draw, it will sense the line with the sensor down here and follow it. Okay. Let's see, demo 2. See what that demo is. Obstacle avoidance, press B to start and A to stop. So B, and then now it's just avoiding any kind of anything that I'm doing, and you press B to stop it, okay? See that? So that's very quick, rudimentary way of controlling the robot without programming anything to it right now. So now you see that there's an application that you can use with the CyberPi and with your phone, and then we'll get to the controller as well. But let me show you on the computer what it looks like, because I got a question. I think Virginia, you said, how do you update? Like I said, I think that's going to be with your Wi-Fi settings, but I've also updated the firmware via, it's called MBlock 5 on their website, okay? And it gets a little bit more complicated, like I said, than previous years if you've been with us with other robots. So I'm going to have to show you how to download that firmware and then update the CyberPi. And so what I'll do is I'll capture the computer here, and then we can go through that process together, okay? So let me go ahead and I'm going to unplug this. And I would recommend, if you're not going to drive it around, keep this wire in the toolbox so that you don't lose it. And then I'm going to pop this back on here. Looks like it'll turn back on. And I believe you can still run the same programs while it's on here, but keep in mind, if you start running programs where it's obstacle avoidance, it's going to continue to go, and then you're just chasing your robot around the room, which may be fun, but it could hit some things and you don't want it to break. So let me show you on the computer what it looks like, what they want you to download, okay? So let me go to the display, let's see. Okay. So what we're going to do is on Make Block, there is an application. Well, first we need to download. Let me make sure everybody can see this. Is it
Yes.
on Zoom?
The screen?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to minimize all this, and that way we can go in and find the right software. So basically, there is a driver that you have to download, okay, in order for your computer to be able to read the robot and the CyberPi whenever you plug it in. So the very first thing that I typically do is I'll go download that driver, and that driver is called M-Link, okay? I can, what I'll do is I'll copy this, and I'm going to put this into the chat, okay? And if you don't have access to a computer right now, just write this down. This is going to be here for your reference on our YouTube page as well. But I'm going to go ahead and paste this into the chat. Let's see. Good. If you have a Chromebook, it will work. But yes, if you want to screen record it, go right ahead. I'm gonna paste the link. It's called MLink. Okay. If you have a Chromebook, see there is that option here. Okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and download the Windows one. They even have Linux in here. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you have in terms of a device, you'll be able to program and use their software to run MBlock, okay? And so the Windows version is what I have, so I'm going to click on that. It's going to start to download. And we're going to take it very slow just so that everybody gets it. You know, I don't want to rush through this. And, you know, if we don't get to all the hardcore coding, basically, and the block coding until tomorrow, that's okay with me, too. All right. I know our showcase is scheduled for tomorrow, but if there's anyone that can't make it Friday, let me know. Or you can type it in a private message, and we can go more in depth on Friday, and we can do a showcase then too. But if you want to showcase yours tomorrow and you can't be here Friday, we'd love for you to do that. So once MLink is downloaded, you have to install it. So if I go down here and I'm going to click and it says it's going to install, please wait while MLink 2 is being installed. And so this driver allows the computer to recognize what the robot is once you plug it in. Because if you just plug it in without the driver, the computer's just probably going to charge it, but it won't recognize that it is a MBot robot and all the coding abilities that you can put into it. And it takes a minute.
Do you want to give them a break so I can download it?
Yeah, does anybody need some time? We can take a break if you want to take a break. Let me know if there's any objections to taking a break. Otherwise, I'll give you some time to install it. But this is basically what pops up once I install MakeBlock or the MLink 2, the driver, basically. And it's going to ask me, what do you want to do? Do you want to install it? Uninstall? Obviously, no, because that's what we're trying to do is install it.
The screen is blurry.
Screen is blurry. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we got. Is it blurry now?
Yes, it looks pixelated.
Pixelated. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Well, like I said, if you can't make it on Friday, then that's okay.
Oh, okay, I can see it now.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So those that can't make it on Friday, what I would recommend then is showcase to the best of your ability on what you have. If you do not have a computer to be able to actually go in and code, what I want you to do is probably name your robot, see what you can do to drive it around with just how I showed you with the cord plugged in. And Solomon, you showed us how to do that. Thank you for doing that. If you have access to a parent, guardian, or sibling's phone, download that application that I told you, and you can drive it around using that until you have the ability to check out a Chromebook from your school. Okay? And so I'm going to click install here. Uh-oh. And I got a driver install failure, so let's see what settings here. Okay. Let's see if it's installed. Oh, well, it said failure, but I do see that it is it is on the computer. So if you open up the driver, this is what it looks like. Now, I don't use the Python editor. That's extremely advanced. There's a developer and a community option. The one that I typically use is the block-based coding, and that's what really we're gonna use, because that's what Miss Carmona talked about, and the video talked about block coding, and that's what we're gonna use, because you can get really in-depth with this robot. I'd love it if some of you could show off some of those skills, but for now, if you do the block-based editor, what it does is it opens up the application on the computer. Okay. Please use Chrome. Oh, okay, it wants Chrome. So if I just copy this and we'll go to Chrome.
It did say that it recommends Chrome website.
Yeah. So it's saying that it recommends the Chrome browser. Okay. And so I'm not getting that error anymore. It just opened up Microsoft Edge and it didn't like that, so it told me they recommended the Chrome browser. Yeah. Yes. It's asking for what? I'm sorry? USB? So with the controller, I believe that's USB. So the controller, I have not seen a USB with that. It usually, because if I go into here, let me show you before I get into the controller here. If I go into the connections portal on their website, there's an extension, and the extension is where you actually add the controller. See this here, Bluetooth controller? And then you're able to add that, and it should come in over here. Yeah, Bluetooth controller. Then you can tell the controller what you want the robot to do, because once you code the controller, then the controller will control the robot, basically. But yeah, the controller's a little bit more tricky than anything. And where are you seeing that it tells you to have a USB? Yeah. Oh, okay. I need to actually connect the robot. Did you already connect your robot? Okay, but you downloaded the driver, right? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Did she only download the Cyber PI only?
So you downloaded the M-Link 2, or did you download the MakeBlock 5 application? M-Link 2. Okay, so the M-Link 2 is going to have the driver for it to be able to recognize everybody's robot. Okay? The next step to this is really you want to plug your CyberPi into the computer via Bluetooth or via USB. Okay? You just did that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here. Yeah, so here's what you can do. The robot, you have to input the code, and you can control it in a live setting. That's what the upload and live, that's what you see down here in upload and live. Okay? If you keep it on the live setting while it's plugged in, you can see what it does live. Okay? But if you input your code off to the right hand side and then you hit upload, you can upload that script into the robot and it will always remember that, and then you can select that code that you uploaded and saved into the robot. Does that make any sense? Have you already written any kind of, putting any kind of code off to the right hand side? Okay. So I'm going to hit connect here, and it should recognize and pick up the robot, okay? So if I hit connect here, now it's connected to my robot. All right? So if I go into here and I do a live setting, I can control the robot with the computer right now. But what I want to do is if I go in here and I want to control and say, let's see. Give me 1 second, real quick. So, before we can actually start to put in any events or control the robot, we have to tell this program that we're using what components are on the robot. Because right now it just thinks that we're controlling the CyberPi, which is just the rectangular looking controller on the robot. So what you have to do is you have to go in and you have to say, I want to add these other components. Okay, so they have many components on M-Block. Okay, so it doesn't say CyberPi over here? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this so that I can show you. Go ahead and delete yours so that down here there's nothing in here, okay? I'm going to hit the plus mark, and the only one I'm going to have right now is CyberPi. I'm going to click CyberPi. I would just leave the MBOT 2 and the Neo alone for now. All we want is the CyberPi over here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is hit connect. Now it may not show up, so what you want to do is I'm going to unplug my robot and I'm going to plug it back in, and then it shows up. Okay, now like I just said, we have to tell this program what is on the robot, okay? So what do we have on the robot? We've got the CyberPi, we've got the ultrasonic sensor, we've got a line following sensor we've got to add. So all of these things have to be told before we can actually start coding it. So we're going to go into extensions. When we click on extensions, you're going to see all of this. So what do we have on there? Well, we obviously have the shield.
The ultrasonic sensor.
And it's called a shield. So if you click on extension and you hit add, it's called the MBOT 2 shield. Okay. See what this comes up as. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the shield is right here. Once you've added the shield, it takes you back to the other page, so you have to click on adding an extension again. So, and you want to add your ultrasonic sensor. So I'm going to click extension. I'm going to add the MBOT 2 shield. Then I'm going to click extension again once it takes me back, and I'm going to add the ultrasonic sensor 2. Okay. The next step is it does have the RGB sensor on the bottom. Okay, so we want to add the RGB sensor as well. Okay. Yeah, beta version, that's correct. And then we do have a controller, so we want to add that controller in there too. Okay. So we're gonna click add the controller. See, it's so it's like I told you all yesterday. You have to, in order to code, you have to think through absolutely everything and tell the robot and tell the controller what is there, what are the components that we're using. Okay. Now all of this is possible through that application that I showed you in the beginning, but it is much more difficult because it is such a smaller screen and it's sort of like a beta version of what you see on the screen here. It's not as intuitive, I would say, as this. So yeah, and we do have an iPad, and I can show you what that looks like on the iPad as well. But once we've added all these components in here, when you scroll through right here, you'll see audio, LED, display, motion sensing, LAN, AI, IoT, events, control, operators, variables, my blocks. That's if you make your own kind of custom block. Now you have the chassis, the extension port. You don't have to deal anything with, and then you have the ultrasonic sensor 2, the RGB sensor, and the Bluetooth controller. These are what we just added. Okay, so these should be in that area that we just added everything in. Okay, then again, let me know if you have any questions. You can screen record. You can always come back to our YouTube channel to watch this. If you don't have access right now, I just want to show you the starting blocks to getting the code, the MBOT 2 Neo robot. Okay. And don't, I feel like it was overwhelming at the beginning too, but let us know if you have any questions. All right. It's definitely much more advanced than I expected. But this is what we've added. Okay, so the next step is that you're going to connect. Let me see real quick. Okay, so sorry about that, but if what you want to do is now, we had ours connected already, but you can upload and add all of those different components with your robot being disconnected. We did connect ours, and right now it says CyberPi connected. So right now it's reading the brain, and it's connected to the computer. And then I'm going to leave it on the live portion here. And then you can, when you click through each of these, you'll be able to see the building blocks of how to control this robot. Okay, so we can I'll give you some very first like rudimentary beginning blocks on how to start coding this. But why don't we take a real quick break? Let's take 15 minutes, okay? And let's let everybody get to the same spot. Make sure their robot is connected. If it's not, then let me know. I can walk you through it. If you don't have access to a computer, don't worry. Let's try and see what we can do with the application on a iOS or Android device. And if that doesn't work for you, then let me know, and we'll go from there, okay? But let's take a quick break, and then we can start. I can start showing you what I would put in for my very first building blocks of the robot, and then how you can upload that into the robot, okay? All right. So we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back. Going to load up the scenes here. I'm going to work with Miss McGoey here because there's a couple of steps that we did miss when it comes to the actual firmware on the robot. I was having an issue during our break with the robot not like accepting the code that I was putting in, and then so there may be an issue like on the USB side. You may run into this issue, and then there was also an issue with the firmware. So I want to show you how to solve these problems in case you encounter them, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to share the screen again. And the very first thing I want to show you is the USB side of things. Now, this is what's called your computer management. You may have an issue with the USB with your computer basically not reading the robot. So what you want to do is you want to go into your device manager.
No way, she drops and kills me.
So you go into device manager on your computer, and you'll see a bunch of these different things listed here. What you want to do is you're gonna find the right port. Let's see. Okay, so it says ports COM and LPT. Okay, and you want to expand that list.
Until you find your M.
Okay, until you find your MBOT, and it's usually going to have like the COM8 next to it, or the is it serial CH340? Is that what it's? Yeah. So sorry, it doesn't have to say COM8. It could say COM3. I've had it say that before, but you're looking for USB-serial CH340. That is USB-serial CH340, okay? And then what you're going to do, so you want to make sure that is showing up in the list, okay? Okay, so the issue is if it shows up and you need to install something, you can also go into the driver and hit like update driver, or install is what you're looking for, install device. Now mine is still showing as installed, so I'm going to leave it right here. But if it gives you any issue at all, again, that is device manager, go to ports, COM and LPT, and then you're looking for USB-serial channel 340, basically.
And then, okay, now click install device. Just click on it.
And then, where's that at? It says
no, okay,
uninstall.
okay.
So we're good on
Yes.
the, okay.
If anybody has any, if they have to install it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if it says you have to install it, but my recommendation is click install if it's not already.
I didn't notice it on the price site.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now you're gonna go there to the MBOT.
Okay, so now we're back onto the MBOT, MLink, MBlock website, okay?
Device connected.
And we're going to make sure that we connect our device. If your device is already connected, then you're good to go. And we're going to click on settings.
Yes.
It's right under the connect or disconnect option. You want to make sure your robot is connected though, so it'll be right underneath disconnect. We're going to click settings. And then this is where you can set up your Wi-Fi, but this is, before you do any of that, you want to firmware update your robot. Okay, this is where I was having issues earlier during our break. I was just testing out the robot to see if I could get lights to turn on, and I couldn't get them to turn off whenever I put in this block here to command it. And it was not turning off the lights. It still isn't. So what I have to do is I need to update my firmware. And the way you do that is there's a firmware update right here. You want to update the firmware to the latest firmware. That should be the only option. It says device CyberPi, latest firmware, and then you click updates. What it's going to do is it's going to search for that latest firmware. And if you already have it, you should be good to go. But what it's going to do is you'll start to see it tick up in the upload percentage if it needs an update. And so I haven't done this yet because I wanted to show you guys that this is the best way to solve those issues. And see, right now it actually needs an update. So I'm going to go ahead and update the firmware on the MBOT, or the CyberPi unit on the MBOT.
And it says it might take 15 minutes.
It could take 15 minutes for this, so be prepared for it to do that. See, right now it's at 8%, so we're going to let that go, but I didn't want to do this during the break just so that I could show you that I was having issues, because you may have the same issues as well. Does anybody have any questions so far on what's going on, how we're updating? Let me pull up the chat. Let's see. Yeah, so the USB-C cable, Virginia, that cable should be in the toolbox. Okay, let me show you where it was in the toolbox, and let me know if you did you find it, because let me show you where it's at. So in the toolbox, under slot number 15, it's sort of tucked away in this little corner here. That's where the USB-C cable was at. That's what you're using when you're plugging it into your robot. Okay? Let me see what you had to say. You're waiting for your CyberPi to update. Is anyone else having an issue?
It's going to reboot too.
Okay, and at the end, Miss McGoey just let me know that it is going to reboot. Okay, you'll see your robot. It'll turn off and on, and then after it reboots, that means the software has updated completely. So I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna go back over here and see what is going on. It's at 44%, 45%. So it does take a minute, but right now there's nothing on the screen for the CyberPi for me, and so once it gets done, it'll just reboot.
You're going to have to restart the CyberPi.
All right, so we'll give that another minute here. And like I said, I think this is going to solve a lot of issues when it comes to the device not responding to some of the code that I was putting in, because like I said, I was trying to put in some code for it to turn on some LEDs, and we also turned it on for it to drive around, and I couldn't get it to stop unless we actually turned the robot on or off and then back on again. So that's what happened. So we're at 71%.
Hey, Bullcat, hold on. Hold on, Bullcat. Okay, I'll work.
Okay, so it looks like it actually updated the firmware on the robot. Okay, let me check and see if anyone's doing some chats here. Oh no, sorry, beloved. I muted for a second. So the actually the robot and the CyberPi, I just saw it reboot. So once it's done rebooting and it's updated, then we are good to go. Okay, but there's one more thing we have to do as well, and that is create an account. So if I go into here, what was it under? The save? Yeah. So if I go into save over here, if I click save, it's going to ask me to log in or sign up. Now the reason that we're going to do this is so that we have an account that saves everything that we make for our account. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log in with our Google account here. And now I'm logged in. But you want to make an account there, and then now you're able to actually save all the progress that you're doing. Okay, a MakeBlock account is free. And it's pretty simple to do. You can sign up with another email, but for me it was just easy just to use our Gmail account. Just go through there, and then you're good to go. And I could actually name it something like test, save, and see there's a file over here. You could do new project, open. Here's my test. And then I'll load that up, and now we're good to go on that. Does anyone have any questions about creating an account on MakeBlock? Yeah. Yeah, so that's a good question. So if you are not able to attend on Friday, see what you can show us tomorrow. And you don't have to go in depth and go through and do all the blocks. If you're just able to drive it around and tell us the name of it and tell us what your plans are with your Mbot Neo, then I think that will suffice for your presentation if you want to present. And like Dr. Flores said, you don't have to, but there may be an incentive at the end and something neat that you may be able to attend with us should you decide to present, but it is not required of you. But if you want to show us something about your robot, about what you've learned about with your robot, what you've named it, what you plan to do with it, or what you already have done with it, that is something that we're looking for when the presentation comes. And we're probably going to do that on Friday. And then for those who cannot attend Friday, and Friday will be a very short day because it will only be the presentation, since that was a day that we had tentatively planned and we ran overtime yesterday. Then that is what we will do Friday. But for those that cannot attend Friday for the very short showcase presentation, let's do that. Let's schedule some time for tomorrow. Okay? Can you say that again? I'm sorry. Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more about coding and going through the different modules tomorrow. Yes. So there is class tomorrow, and so that will be during the same times tomorrow. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the coding. We're gonna go into a little bit of the presentation. Yes. But Friday was the day if you can't make tomorrow, or I'm sorry, if you cannot attend Friday, then you will present your robot if you want to tomorrow. But what I would suggest too is if you do not have the time, you can also make a TikTok video or Instagram or share it to our social media, email it to us. Yeah, I would prefer you send it to like our Instagram. You can share what you've done with your robot as far as your presentation goes. It doesn't have to be a long presentation. I just want to know, first of all, you could say, this is so and so. This is my robot. I named it whatever. And this is what I learned during the Summer Robotics Academy. I'm excited to have this robot because I have coded it to do this, this, and this. And then you can show what you've coded it to do. Or if you were not able to actually code it, if you're able to drive it around with the other apps that I showed you, this is what I can do with it. And in the future with this robot, this is what I plan to do with it. So I just wanted to show you guys sort of the very beginning steps today to coding it. We are going to get more in depth with this tomorrow. But I wanted to get this set up so that you are familiar with the interface on how this looks like. If you are able to borrow somebody's computer or a Chromebook or something, we can sort of do a recap. But if you're not, that's okay too. I just wanted you to have the opportunity to see what it looks like, what the interface looks like. And it's all free. All of it's 100% free. And regardless of you being able to code it this week, you get to keep the robot. I mean, you're a part of Talent Search. You're a part of the Summer Robotics Academy, and you'll always be able to ask us questions, and you'll always be able to code it later because you'll get to keep this robot in the end. But I wanted to show you how to update it, how to go through the different issues that I was having earlier during our break, to show you how to solve that. Tomorrow, I think what we're really going to get in depth with is let's make movement. Let's get the movement going on the robot. Let's get the lights going on the robot. Let's start talking about what we can do as far as making the robot our own. And that's really with our own code, right? I mean, you get to see all the different things that we have just added in here. If you want to play around with it, this is your opportunity tonight to start to go around. Now, I probably will not get into you during this academy about the connecting to Wi-Fi due to the restrictions at the university with the Wi-Fi. But you can connect this robot to your Wi-Fi if you have that at home. And you can you can do AI and have it recognize different speech You can tell it to turn left, it will turn left, it'll recognize you. You can have it recognize different objects. It's very, very cool, and we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow, but I will not be able to get into that deep of coding with you. And then we'll talk about the Python editor as well, because that is way more in depth. And this is really where coding comes in. And I will have to also teach y'all how to how we can change the language here. But this is basically your Python editor, and this is how you edit your scripts. So it is pretty cool. But given what time it is now, I'm going to probably close out today's session. Unless y'all have any other questions.
I have an announcement.
Yes, will you make an announcement?
The announcement is yesterday's winner.
Here.
Oh, sorry.
You may want to put those on. 'Cause
Okay.
They're talking.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Is it on mute?
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay, guys. So I just want to announce the winner. The person who posted and tagged a picture of the robot put up and cleaned up, and y'all did exactly what I asked. I asked you to put it up, take a picture, and tag us. And I believe it's Steven Ramos. Steven, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You are the winner for that, and that's how he posted it. You see that? He did exactly what we asked. He took a picture of it, put up, and he tagged us. So we actually got tagged.
Nice.
Okay. And let me just make sure. Hold on. Oops. Not now. So, Steven, can you hear me?
We can message him.
Okay.
Do you want to let them know the challenge for today?
Yes. Do you want to give them that challenge? Do you want to?
I can come over here.
Oh,
yeah.
the Bluetooth control.
Is Steven not on here? I mean,
I would just message him. Can they hear me?
yeah.
In like about, I would say like 10 minutes, we're gonna post a question to our Instagram story about today's presentation. So I really hope you were paying attention. So we're gonna put that question, and like the first person to answer it correctly will get another one of the Skull Candy headphones. So keep a lookout for that in 10 minutes, okay? Awesome.
All right, guys. Okay. Here you go, Brian.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave off the coding part today until we get in tomorrow. And then some of y'all can showcase then, or if you want to go ahead and send us any kind of video and say this is your showcase now, you can do that on the Instagram. Just make sure to tag us, and we will put you in for the showcase.
I think it's so cool that everybody had posted like their
yeah.
their video, like their MBOT as they were
That's
working
awesome.
on it. So
That's
shout
great.
out to Juan, he did that too, and so did
Beloved.
Yeah, Beloved did this. Oh, I showed that one to Dr. Flores. I couldn't open it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, once.
Well, Beloved, if you want to share another photo, that'd be great.
That was pretty cool. It was cool.
Anybody else?
I want a.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, make sure that if you send us something, you could send us just your first
Oh,
name.
Lakia.
Oh, okay, Lakia. Okay, yeah, you did. Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
That's a shout out because that was one of the hardest things is to know who's sending what. And, you put your name on there, and that's a good thing. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can just put your first name on there. You don't have to. Yeah, you can take a picture of your robot, take a picture of you. Basically, yesterday's challenge was show us how you organized everything. Did you have a challenge for today?
Yes, we're actually gonna post the. Claudia has a question that she's gonna post on Instagram. We're gonna post it on there, and we will announce the winner for the second day talent search challenge.
Steven, you won. You won the challenge yesterday. I don't know if you were able to hear. So yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
So the question is, what color does he want?
So what color of skull candy earbuds do you want? We've got mint green. We've got
I don't know if they can see.
navy blue. This is navy blue.
That's navy blue. That's the mint.
That's
green.
the mint green.
And this is, I call it army green.
And then there's army green. So we've got these three options here for you that we can set up for you to, we can either mail or have you come get it. Navy blue for Steven.
Okay.
And then, of course, we're going to be doing a bunch of different giveaways throughout the rest of the academy, so make sure that you are a part of that. What I want y'all to do, though, is make sure you have everything organized again, though. The challenge is going to be different, so this isn't for a challenge of getting everything organized again, but please, please, please keep your robot and everything together again in a safe spot to where nobody can mess with it or tip it over or have it fall down and break. There's still pieces in the toolbox, so please, those are spare pieces. Please make sure everything is locked up and taken care of for the end of the day here, okay? Like I said, tomorrow we're going to get more in-depth with the coding. I'll walk through it with you. I'm very much in the learning process still myself with this robot, but we'll learn together. At least you know what the interface looks like and how to actually get into it. Now, I did get a question about the connecting the Bluetooth controller from Virginia. Let's get into that tomorrow. I really want to focus on the, let's get into the robot and the coding aspect, and then let's get into the coding of the controller. And then, because once you code the controller, you then have to connect it to the coded robot, and that's another process of dealing with it. But then you won't have to use your phone or anything. So let's get into that tomorrow as well. If you want to get on the computer, I know there are tutorials online as well. If you want to, you can go ahead and if you're very adamant about learning with the getting on the controller and getting it to connect and control your robot, feel free to, but you don't have to. All right, we'll get into that tomorrow. If you're really excited and you really want to get into all of that. All right. Are there any other questions other than the fact that we are going to have a challenge here in the next few minutes posted to our Instagram if you want to be considered for the next drawing? Any other questions? You can unmute your mic, you can type it in the chat, whatever you need to do.
There we go. Questions. Did you take a picture of that? Sure.
Is there a way for you guys to post, if you plan on doing the showcase tomorrow? You can just type in the chat, or I would, yeah, I'd prefer you to type your name in the chat, or just let me know. Your name will pop up on there if you want to do the challenge or the presentation tomorrow, basically. of your robot. When will the challenge be posted?
And like about
And
2-3 minutes.
Like
2-3 minutes.
Like once we're off of it, like maybe 10 minutes. That will make sure we give everybody a chance to log on.
You said that whoever figured out where you put the extra wire would get prize.
Oh, I didn't say that. Yeah. Did you say anything about the extra wire?
The extra wire? Well, you know what, Solomon, we're gonna do it anyway. We'll get a prize figured out for you, okay? Unless do you prefer to? I have 2 of these left. Which is mint green and these. Otherwise, we do have other incentives at the end of the week. Okay, but yeah, I will definitely honor that, Solomon.
I'm just gonna post them out and just tell them.
It is posted? Okay, so the Instagram challenge is now posted. If you go to @UHD Talent Search on Instagram. Mint green. Okay, Solomon, we'll get you set up with that. So we've got Steven with the navy blue and Solomon with the mint green.
And then tomorrow, let everybody know who won.
Tomorrow we'll let everyone know who won on the Instagram challenge. And then from there, we've got some other incentives. We have, well, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it, but we do have a really cool event coming up. And I would like each of you to be a part of that if you're able to present and do these challenges, but I don't want to spoil it right now. So we'll just wait until either tomorrow or Friday to announce that. And each one of you will have an opportunity for that. All right? Okay. Any other questions before we let out? I'm going to go ahead and put it on the ending screen. I do appreciate everyone being here, and today was a better day in terms of technology. Let's hope tomorrow is the same way. I think it will be now that we've gotten some things figured out, and then we'll get into more coding tomorrow.
Any questions?
You can't type on the.
Oh yeah, you have to. You can't type on the one that the way you put it.
Oh, okay.
Reply to it.
We'll figure this out real quick.
Type something. Yeah. Let me look at my story or my Instagram.
Okay. Bye, Steven. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. 1 o'clock. We'll be here tomorrow. You just replied to the story. Will that count?
I think so.
Bye, Solomon.
Okay. Yeah, we just did get somebody that replied.
We just got, yeah, so if you reply.
No, they have to reply.
So you have to hit reply. Reply on the story. Let's see.
Can I see my phone?
Here, let me make it so you can see Miss Carmona's phone.
So if you see like the story that we have, you see the story and then you click this and then you're able to type the answer right there. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you just like you go like this and then you go like this and then you just click that and then you're able to type something on there and answer the question.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we get that? Everybody's answer? Let me see. We have one more question. No, before it didn't. Okay, all right. Daniel or Benjamin. I think it was maybe Daniel. I don't know. But just let us know. Did they have to type their names in there?
Yes.
Yeah, make
Just
sure
your first name.
you can just put your first name in there. We'll know who you are.
Your first letter for your name and your.
Oh, okay. Just respond again and put your first name again. That's fine. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can say you responded before. Just put in the same response and that you responded before with your name.
Yeah. Then we can see who's doing it.
Yeah.
We'll announce tomorrow's winner.
We'll announce tomorrow's winner.
Does anybody not have Instagram?
Does anybody not have Instagram? Okay. Hey. Well, most everybody left, so let's see. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. again.
Look.